The KeysDAN Show. It's the KeysDAN Show. I need a new theme for the KeysDAN Show. You might hear news. You might learn stuff. You never know what you're going to get on the KeysDAN Show. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, The KeysDAN Show. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. Yes, KeysDAN. I like to party with the people. Speaking of partying with the people, hanging out here on Facebook Live. That's how we're recording this particular version of the KeysDAN Show. I've been doing this. I guess this is the third week. Week number 3. I did one 3 Saturdays ago. Then I did one last Sunday. And I'm doing one right now. And this is also a call-in show. So if you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call me at 501-470-6386. You know, I've been noticing a lot of the creators, a lot of the artists have been putting themselves out there using Facebook Live. And I want to be no exception to the rule. I'll be part of the show. Why not? Let's do it. You know, I like to party with the people. All right. Today on the program, you know, I've got a few talking points that I can talk about. But for the most part, I want to give this program to you. That's why I've made it a call-in show. You could be a part of it. If you don't want to do a whole podcast with me, I've been doing a lot of podcasts with the What Makes You Famous podcast. And it's, you know, hashtag What Makes You Famous. There you go. You could find it everywhere. And I've been talking to a lot of people from all over the world, really. And it's a lot of fun. You know, you could find it all over the internet on Apple and Google and Spotify and your favorite places to find podcasts. I don't even have to tell you. Just use the hashtag What Makes You Famous, and you could find out more about that. And maybe you could be a part of the show. Everyone has a story, and even you have a story. Yeah, you. Another podcast I've been doing just to keep my brain fresh and keep filling it up with knowledge is the What Makes You Smarter podcast as well. And that is at hashtag What Makes You Smarter. Yeah, you see what I'm doing? I'm using the hashtags. You know, these kids with their hashtags. I think it's a great idea. The KeysDAN Show is kind of the all-encompassing, all of the above. KeysDAN Show, hashtag KeysDAN Show. And you could find that. Yeah, so if you want to give me a call, you want to be a part of it, sure, why not? Let's do it. 501-470-6386, and you could be a part of it all. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah. So today on the program, I mean, I've already done the 10 things you need to know today. I did that on the What Makes You Smarter podcast. And, you know, usually I've been doing that, you know, daily. I've been making a little daily podcast. These are little topics of news bits that are all over the world that people are interested in. And I figure you might want to be a part of the show. I got Joseph LaCastro in there. He's telling me to party with the people. Yeah, get some. Yeah, I'll get some. He's pretty cool, man. I've been had him on the podcast. So I encourage you to look up Joseph LaCastro and find out more about him and all the doings that he's doing. And notice I have to put my real deep voice when I talk about him because he's real soothing. Yeah. Talking about spiritual things. All right, that's a little hint on what he does. But he does so much more, man. Don't paint anybody in a small box because many people have many different interests. You know, I have different interests as well. I like to watch the movies. I like to party with the people. I like to do all kinds of things, man. I like to eat apples and bananas. See? Apples and bananas. I wish I ate more apples and bananas. I'm getting too fat, man. But that's no fault but my own. I think I'm sitting in this chair too much, talking into this microphone too much, because I have this desire to put my voice out there and have it be heard and have the voices of others be heard. So it's people helping people. And I have no qualms about doing that. Now, there are 10 things you need to know today. This is off the Week's website. And they do credit other news sources. So I kind of like this website. I like to use this as a source. it seems like it's pretty fair and balanced, if you will. Not too far to the right, not too far to the left. Although, who knows? Is anything unskewed these days? I have no idea. It's hard to tell. I just put the facts out there as I see them, and hope for the best. These are the things that I'm learning, and hopefully I get some feedback on it. That's the whole thing, is you got to have a push-pull, a back and forth, if you will, these days you got to know what other people are thinking, and hopefully we can all just get along. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this 10 things you need to know today here on the KeysDAN show. This way I have some talking points, and I'm not just rattling things off my head, because most of the stuff that I do when I'm talking on microphones is reading copy, and that's what a talking head does. I don't have a lot of knowledge in my head. I say that, but in 51 years, I think I've gained some kind of knowledge. There's something rattling around up there. So I do think that I have some ideas to say, but I like to bounce them off people. I seem those are the best conversations, are when you have them with other people, not just with the voices in your head. Did I just reveal too much about myself? Voices in my head. I know mental illness is nothing to laugh about. It's a real thing. And I believe that. I believe that to be true. People say they got voices in their head. What am I to do? I'm going to believe them. I'm going to believe that they do have that belief, that they have that voice in their head. Yeah. All right, 10 things you need to know today, if I haven't lost anybody already. If you're still listening. And what's the point of me saying if you're still listening? Because if you're not listening, then you're not listening, right? Yeah. Okay. Revelations. Oh, I'm so pithy. Hey, today is my mom's birthday. Myra Houston out there. Hey, happy birthday. I hope you're having a great birthday. I know you're doing a lot of moving between South Florida and Tennessee. So, hey, Myra Houston, good on you. Happy birthday. I love you, Mama. For all you do, and for all you have done, and for all you will do. You're still doing it. You're still keeping this family together, and I appreciate that. So, yes, happy birthday, Myra Houston. Mama. All right, 10 things you need to know today for Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number one, the FDA approves emergency use of remdesivir. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Remdesivir, Remdesivir. I suspect that that's going to be a very, very important word in the next few weeks. Coming up real soon, you're going to be hearing a lot about remdesivir. FDA approves emergency use of remdesivir for COVID-19 treatment. Food and Drug Administration on Friday authorized the emergency use of the antiviral remdesivir on COVID-19 patients. Gilead Sciences revealed promising study results involving remdesivir on Wednesday, and the Trump administration announced the authorization, which sidesteps the usual testing required to approve a drug's usage. During a Friday Oval Office meeting between President Trump, Health and Human Services Secretary Alexander Azar, FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen Hahn, and Gilead Sciences CEO Daniel O'Day. In Gilead's trial, at least 50% of patients treated with remdesivir improved, though the study wasn't evaluated against a control group, and it's unclear if those recoveries were natural. It's unclear if those recoveries were natural. As clinical trials continue, doctors can use remdesivir on some patients. O'Day said Gilead is working to rapidly increase its supply. This is according to NBC News. All right, so hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Remdesivir. Hopefully that's a treatment that shows promise. And I know that they've had it in small scale, and no, they okay. I just had a text from Jennifer Malott. Yes, Jennifer Malott's a great country singer out there in Nashville, and taking it out to the world. She was recently on the podcast, on the What Makes You Famous podcast, and she's a very nice girl. I appreciate her being out there, and and a family girl, country singer. Yeah, she does it. That's cool. Putting it out there to the world. All right. Yeah, so much. So 10 things you need to know today. The remdesivir. Has anybody else heard anything new about that? I know that just came up yesterday, and it's been a small study of people getting some relief from COVID-19 due to that drug, and I hope that it works its way and becomes something that's viable. Yeah. All right, reflecting and just chit-chatting with the people. I know there's not many people that are listening to the live version of this, but I will put it out there as a podcast. I'll put it out there on the KeysDAN show feed of the podcast, that version. All right. I think I say podcast too much while I'm doing podcasts. What should I say? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just reflecting in towards myself, outwards towards you. What else can I do? You're a part of my psyche now. You're a part of it all. All right. So, all right. Let's continue while we're hanging out here, waiting for calls. If you want to be a part of the show, you can call me at 501-470-6386. And you could just chit-chat about whatever's going on in your day. You could, if you have a business that's open still, or you have anybody that you want to shout out or promote, I encourage you to do so. Yeah, for sure. You could be a part of it. If you want, like I said, if you don't want to do a whole podcast, you can just shoot it out there. Just put it out a minute or two and just talk to me right here. And you could be a part of this compilation podcast, if you will. And if nobody calls, no big deal. It's just me. Just more content for me. That's what it is with this podcast. Some people have asked me if there's any cost to it, or if I'm charging money for people to be on the podcast. Well, so far, no. I mean, it provides content for my feed. It gives me an opportunity to talk to somebody new and bounce ideas off of them, and it gives you promotion. So there you go. Mutually beneficial. People helping people. I think that might be a hashtag for me. I'm sure it's out there. People helping people in various ways, and I appreciate that. The heroes out there, we're finding out more and more every day who those heroes are. The people helping people. All right, I guess we'll go with the 10 things you need to know today. Got the copy points out there, so I'm not just rattling off nonsense for a whole hour. Things to do today, right? Let's see. Number 2 on the things you need to know today for Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. Still my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Number 2, Fauci blocked from testifying before House committee. The White House confirmed Friday it is blocking Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, who has taken on a prominent role in the Trump administration's coronavirus response, from testifying before the Democrat-led House Appropriations Committee about the pandemic next week. White House spokesman Judd Deere said, quote, "It is counterproductive," end quote, to have someone like Fauci, who is heavily involved in the government's efforts to reopen the American economy and expedite a corona vaccine, step away from those tasks and testify. Deere did say the White House would work with Congress to find a more appropriate time, quote, quote, for Fauci to testify. Fauci, who at times has dissented from President Trump on certain coronavirus-related matters, will reportedly appear before the Republican-led Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee the following week. This is according to the Washington Post and CNN. Dr. Fauci, man, he's becoming a superstar in all this. I think the man in history, hopefully he comes down as a legend. It looks like he's a good dude. He's let's go a little bit on Anthony Fauci. I got the Wikipedia page pulled up, and let's see what his blurb is. The top paragraph. Dr. Anthony Stephen Fauci He was born on December 24th, 1940. He's an American physician, immunologist, who has served as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, since 1984. 1984, man, that's staying power. Good on you. Since January 2020, he has been one of the lead members of the Trump administration's White House Coronavirus Task Force addressing the 2019-2020 coronavirus pandemic in the United States. Fauci is widely seen to be one of the most trusted medical figures in the country. Fauci is widely recognized as one of the world's leading experts on infectious diseases. As a physician with the National Institutes of Health, NIH, Fauci has served the American public health in various capacities for over 50 years and has been an advisor to every U.S. president since Ronald Reagan. He has made contributions to HIV, AIDS research, and other immunodeficiencies, both as a scientist and as the head of the NIAID and the NIH. All right, man. So, yeah, he's worked with Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and, of course, Donald Trump now. So, Anthony Fauci, good on you. Look forward to hearing more from you. Save the world. Hey, if you are good at school, I mean, I was never the best at school, and I know there's a lot of people that'll think that's self-deprecation, but no, I was never the best at school. I've read, I've learned some things. I like to read. I like to fill my head with knowledge. I guess just like most people, nobody wants to stay. Nobody wants to stay. Oh my goodness! Of course, this is the time that the words fail me. Nobody wants to stay stagnant in their thoughts and their ideas. So people are always trying to, hopefully, having a thirst for knowledge. I mean, I guess there are those people that have their place in life and just stay there and are very happy and content doing that. But, you know, me, I like to put my hands in different pots. I like to learn new things and do different things. I find myself saying yes to a lot of things. Hey, you want to try this? Sure. Why not? Let's give it a shot. Maybe not bungee jumping. I think I'm getting too old and too fat for bungee jumping. I think I've passed that threshold. All right. Well, let me take a sip of my tea here. I guess out here in the South, we drink a lot of tea, right? All right. 10 things you need to know today. Those are my talking points while I'm sitting here on this Facebook Live and recording this KeysDAN Show podcast for Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. Let's see. Number 3 on the 10 things you need to know today. Oh, all right. Number 3, Biden denies Tara Reade's sexual assault allegation. Former Vice President Joe Biden on Friday addressed for the first time former staffer Tara Reade's allegation. Is it Tara or Tara? I think she's keeping herself away from the actress's name. So it might be Tara. Tara Reade's allegation that he sexually assaulted her in 1993. Quote, I want to address allegations by a former staffer that I engaged in misconduct 27 years ago, end quote, Biden said in a statement. Quote, they aren't true. This never happened, end quote. Biden said Reade's story, quote, has changed repeatedly in both small and big ways, end quote. And he is asking the National Archives to identify a record of a complaint Reade says she filed in the Senate and release it to the press. Quote, if there was ever any such complaint, end quote. Biden had been facing calls to personally address Reade's allegation after his campaign previously denied it. This is according to the Washington Post and the New York Times. Yeah, and Biden would say after, I imagine, with all the things that he's done with women's rights and such, she has the right to say it. I mean, these are things that I've heard of him saying, is that women have the right to speak and say what they want to say, whether the truth is valid or not. And that's a whole nother story, possibly. But they have the right to say what they have to say. And I think he said that as well. Oh my goodness. Yeah, when I guess when you're in the public eye, and especially if you're running for president, you're going to get vetted, and he's going to get vetted. So if the allegations are true, then the truth will come out, and whether that affects his chances for becoming president or holding office of any kind, that's anybody's guess. I mean, previous men have been accused and convicted, and allegations have come true, and have still held positions of power. No names. Dun, 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 dun. I suppose people do change, and people can be forgiven. So yeah. All right. So hanging out here on the Facebook Live. And if you'd like to call, 501-470-6386. Also, that's the number to call if you want to set up a time for the podcast. You can get on the show, the What Makes You Smart, What Makes You Famous podcast, and I'll do a whole interview with you, and we'll talk about you, your life story, your thoughts on things as you see them. How about that? I mean, everybody's got a story. And a lot of people don't have the opportunity to tell their story. A lot of these podcasts that are out there, the most famous ones, of course, the ones that get hit the most are the people that we see in the public eye all the time. But you're going to find everyone has something to tell. I mean, you grew up in a certain way in a certain time, and you have some ups and downs, and I want to hear that. I like it. I like it. Bounce some ideas off me, and I'll bounce some ideas off of you. We'll get to know each other on the What Makes You Famous podcast, 501-470-6386. All right, let's see. Oh, number 4, European countries begin to ease some coronavirus restrictions. Coronavirus restrictions continued to ease Saturday in some European countries, including Spain, one of the world's hardest hit nations. Adults were allowed outside to exercise for the first time in 7 weeks, prompting runners and cyclists to hit the pavement, though social distancing guidelines remain in place. In Madrid, a field hospital set up by the military at a convention center was closed, as was a makeshift morgue established at an ice rink. Spain has more than 213,000 cases of COVID-19, with 24,543 deaths. Elsewhere, museums, zoos, and playgrounds were permitted to open for the first time in several weeks in Germany. Italy will begin loosening some restrictions on Monday. May the 4th be with you. The Associated Press is this is according to the Associated Press and the BBC. People are frustrated, don't want to be locked up inside the house. I had a discussion earlier out in the parking lot, of the local AT&T, which, by the way, is still open for business. That not that they're a sponsor by any means, but they are still open for business. Not the showroom. They've come up with something interesting. I know that the Verizons and some of the other places have closed down. The communication places have closed down completely, and maybe you're running, online business here and there. But the AT&T, I mean, I've been a loyal customer of Singular since 1995, so I guess I have some ownership of them. But AT&T has set up a tent outside. All their people are out there in tables and chairs. They'll come to your car. You'll drive up into the parking lot. They say there's signs up that say "Stay in your car," and you'll drive up, and one of the AT&T associates will come up to you and ask you what you need, and But I guess the person I was with, and I don't want to say who it is, but the person I was with was he's an older gentleman. He wanted to go inside the showroom, and he wanted to buy a new phone. And they said, well, we'll bring out the phone to you, or what kind of phone do you want? And he likes to look at them. I understand the feeling. You like to go into a retail establishment and look at things and touch them and taste them, and maybe not taste the phones, but certainly if it's something that you want to see and it's tangible and it's got some texture to it, you want to hold it in your hand, especially if you're spending $1,000 on a phone. which a lot of these phones could be up to $1,000, even if it's only I say only a $300 phone. You kind of want to hold it in your hand before you buy it, right? Unless you've seen it and touched it already. Maybe you have a friend that's got one of those, the same model, and that one, okay, yeah, I want that phone. And then you go ahead and you buy it online on their website. But for all other purchases, for me in particular, if I want to have a mouse, I go to the local electronics store, and I look for the mouse. I touch the mouse, and if there's a mouse display set up, I will touch it and see how it feels in my hand. And if I like the mouse, I buy the mouse. See? Same thing with a phone. And he wanted to buy a phone, and he said, "Oh, I'm not allowed in the showroom?" Well, I guess there's no sale today. So he went off with his phone that's apparently it's having some troubles, but he's going to deal with it because he couldn't get the satisfaction of going into a retail store and buying what he wanted to buy. And I think that's the frustration that a lot of people are having. Who is scaring us the most about this virus? Could I be a conspiracist? Possibly. Could I put that label on there? Possibly. But is the government stronger when you're living in fear? Probably. It's historically accurate. If the people are living in fear, then they can take your rights away, can't they? And they'll slowly do it a little at a time. Yeah, I'm saying it. It's food for thought, if you will. We want to protest. Oh, no. Government says you can't gather. How are you going to protest if you can't gather? The little thoughts running through my head. I don't know. Maybe you have some similar ideas. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just think everything's going just fine. We got a virus. There's people dying. Yeah, stay indoors. Lock yourself up. Put yourself in social distance, self-isolation, stay at home, whatever it takes to keep away from the Q word, quarantine. We're quarantining ourselves. We're jailing ourselves, staying indoors. Yeah, I miss going to restaurants. I'm a big fat man. I like going to restaurants and taking my family out there and having some food. Even if I don't do it all that often, I like to have the right to do it, the ability to do it, right? The freedom to do it if I want to. I've been stuck. Yes, and before I say this, I've been skipping some meals because I don't have the opportunity when I'm driving around to go in to a place. And I don't like fast food. I like to go into a restaurant and have some food if I'm going to have some lunch, because fast food is just bad for me, man. I know what to expect. I had some fast food today. The family wanted something, so I had some too. I'm not going to say I don't eat fast food, but I don't particularly like it. I'd rather go into a good, quote unquote, restaurant, sit down, have a meal, have somebody serve me, and maybe hopefully have something a little better to put in my belly, make me healthier and stronger. Here I am digressing. But that's what I'm going to do from time to time. That's the thing about these podcasts is you can do whatever you want. And if somebody wants to listen, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. I find this very healing and cathartic for me, just to spill my guts out there and talk about what's on my mind. And I know there's other people that have things on their mind. Maybe they don't have the ability to record themselves, but that's getting less and less as time progresses. Everybody's carrying one of these smartphones, these recording studios in their pocket, so they're able to get their ideas out there as they see fit. I'm looking at Instagram videos and Facebook videos. I'm trying to figure out where the best place to do one of these streams is. Is it better on YouTube, or is it better on Facebook or Instagram? Who's got if you're going to say something, you might as well have some viewership. Give me some ideas. What's the best place to do a live stream? But I do other videos as well, and put them out there on YouTube. For the most part is YouTube, because if I try to do anything else, man, this brain is getting very, very old and narrow to where if I get too much social media to keep up with, it's just going to take all my time. And I like to have a little downtime, a little time to go and watch a show with the fam. Yeah, I like that. All right. Well, while we're hanging out here, I do have these bullet points, the 10 things you need to know today for Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. And I've already been up to number 4. Let's see. Number 5. All right. Number 5 on the 10 things you need to know today is North Korean state media says Kim Jong-un makes first public appearance in 20 days. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made his first public appearance in 20 days on Friday. South Korea's Yonhap News Agency reports, citing state media. Kim reportedly made his appearance for the completion of a fertilizer plant north of Pyongyang. Kim was out of the public eye for weeks, sparking rumors he was in ill health or even dead. CNN reported in April that the U.S. was monitoring intelligence that Kim was, quote unquote, in grave danger after undergoing a previous surgery. Though South Korean officials disputed that report, saying he was, quote, alive and well, and likely simply mildly sick or, quote, being isolated because of coronavirus concerns, end quote. While North Korean state media reported Kim's appearance, few details were verifiable regarding his presence or his health. This is according to Yonhap News Agency and the Associated Press. Now, with North Korea being one of the tightest places, most secretive places, all their news is state-run. So whatever the state wants you to hear, that's what you hear, and that's the way it is. Yeah, they run their country the way they want to. Maybe people here don't want that. Probably myself included. Don't want wish that their people can move around as freely as we do, but they have their ideas. They have their way. So live and let live, right? My goodness. It's I wish the whole world can get together. I wish we didn't have to have a military. Wishes, right? How many wishes do I have? Have I ever rubbed a bottle and found a genie and gotten my wishes to come true? No, I don't think I have. But I'm glad. I'm glad to be living in this country, as it seems like it's the best country run in the world, and I think studies have shown that people would agree that this country is the place to be. The place to be. The United States of America. I'm glad to be here. And I know that being here, being born here, has some privilege to it, has some given me some advantages. Just the fact that I'm able to have the recording equipment, the ability to talk to you out there in the universe, put my voice out there, put my face out there. I don't know. Maybe this was a mistake, putting my face out there. By the way, if you're just listening to the audio portion of this, the audio version, you can find the video version on my YouTube. Yeah, I've learned how to record a video off of the internet. So I'm recording my Facebook Live right now as we speak. And I'll put it out on YouTube and send it out to the universe. And maybe somebody will see it, or maybe they won't. Maybe 20 years from now. I mean, is it very egotistical to think that somebody would find interest in whatever I'm saying or viewing my YouTube video? Maybe. Maybe not. But I like doing it. I like talking into microphones. I've never been really one to look into video cameras before. I've been more of an audio person my whole life. And here I am on video with you. Wow. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I hope people are stepping out of their comfort zone while they're all locked up in their houses, finding interesting ways to pass the time, not just play video games or not just watch endless shows on their streaming services, but find other things to do. I found this. I've set up a little podcast studio in my house. How about that? So now I have the ability to chit chat with people. And I got Radio What set up right behind me there. So must have turned the screen off. There it is. RadioWhat.com. Yeah, that's the other thing. If there's any artists out there, any musicians that have some songs that want to get some exposure to them, I can put them out on RadioWhat.com. Just go ahead and send your submissions to KeysDAN at AOL.com or info@RadioWhat.com if that's easier to remember. And I'll take a listen. The thing about RadioWhat.com, people ask me, what music do you play? Well, yeah, it's what music, right? RadioWhat.com. But mostly it's music, whatever I like, I'll play it. And I figure if I like it, somebody else is going to like it. So there. I guess I'm the judge, jury, and executioner as far as music direction on Radio What. If I like it, I'll play it. And if I play it, it'll tweet. How about that? There you go. I'll tweet it out there, and you'll get that exposure. Yeah. You can listen to the song, and you can see it on your Twitter. And when it tweets, you can retweet. And, yeah, hopefully more people find out more about you. How about that? And I do like talking to musicians because I'm jealous, all right? I have musical instruments. I guess I could be learning more about how to use those musical instruments. I got guitars, and I got an amp sitting here at my feet. So I guess I could be learning how to play guitar a little bit better. Not that I play very well at all, but Smoke on the Water, I think that's one of the first ones that most people do when they're learning how to play guitar. Am I going to get burned for that? I don't have the rights to that song. Is it okay to hum songs while you're doing a podcast? Are you going to get burned? Are you going to get demonetized? I don't know. Maybe somebody could tell me. How many notes does it take to get demonetized? All right. Well, here's another on the 10 things you need to know today. We're up to number 6 on my little talking points as we go through the KeysDAN show. Number 6, Newsom says California could ease restrictions in a matter of days. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered at Huntington Beach, south of Los Angeles, on Friday to protest California Governor Newsom's, he's a Democrat, decision to close beaches throughout the state as a result of the coronavirus pandemic, claiming the measure was a breach of individual liberties. Many of the protesters were reportedly not wearing masks. But during his Friday press conference, Newsom said he is hopefully just days away from lifting some restrictions in California's stay-at-home order, which is one of the strictest in the country. The governor hinted that restaurants may soon be able to reopen for table service with some safety measures, but people will need to continue to shelter at home in the meantime before any changes come to fruition. This is according to Reuters and the Daily Beast. All right, so that's the people. The government is here at the will of the people. That's the way it should be. That's the way it was written, right? So if the government says you can't do something and the people don't like that idea, they have the ability to protest. And protest they did, at least out there in California. And I saw some pictures that came up on the interwebs on my feed. There were a lot of people all gathered up together, arm in arm, on top of each other, just saying, no, we got to get to the beach. That's why we moved here. That's why we're in California. We like this beach. And I remember that. I remember in Florida when I was living near the water, I liked going out to the water. I liked going out to the beach. I liked having my toes in the sand. I didn't necessarily like the sand in my toes, but I liked having my toes in the sand. How about that? How about that for a dichotomy or a duality, if you will? I like being in the water for sure. The salt water, cleansing, healing, had meditative purpose. I had a place in Key Largo that I would go and sit. It was usually empty, devoid of people, only me. So I knew that was my own little special my own special spot, looking at the Atlantic Ocean. And I remember it was very therapeutic. If I had a bad day or things were getting me down and I wanted to have some place to meditate, the ocean is just very therapeutic. There is so much water on this earth, but the ocean is just amazing. The salt water, the smell of it, the taste of it. I know, don't drink salt water. It's bad for you. But the feel of it, and it cleanses your cuts and your scrapes, and it heals you. It heals your body being out there on the ocean. But yeah, I like my toes in the sand, but I didn't like my sand in my toes. Sand got everywhere. Yeah. So do I like the beach? No, maybe not the beach, but definitely the water. So you got to get to the water from the beach. So there's your little hardship, first world problems. And I know there's beaches all over the world, but there's your little hardship. If you want to get to that nice ocean, you got to climb through that sand or that coral or those rocks. Yeah. Little hardships to get to the good stuff. I guess those are little metaphors, little things popping into my head. All right. Hanging out here on Facebook Live on Saturday at 3:54 in the p.m., Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. Just going over some talking points, 10 things you need to know today, putting myself out to the universe. If you got some comments, please comment. Let me know what you think. And if you have some mean comments, fine. Do some mean comments. You're entitled to your opinion, of course. It's a free country. Comments, sticks and stones break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So, yeah, comment. Am I too fat? Does this shirt make me look fat? Does this microphone make me look fat? I guess I'm having that kind of an existential crisis in this time of my life. I've been thin and I've been fat. I like thin. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work for my body type to stay thin. And I like food too much. And I don't like exercise as much as I should. Thankfully, I have a day job that keeps me out there and keeps me moving, keeps me in motion. So that's a good thing. I guess I picked the right day job to keep me from completely being lethargic and sitting around too much. I do have a day job that's a necessary job. So thankfully, this is helping to keep me and my family going. I hope everybody's job gets necessary soon enough. I miss going out to places. Oh, I miss that. All right, 10 things you need to know today as we roll on, doing my little FB Live. Number 7, Canada bans all assault-style weapons. Canada on Friday banned the use and sale of all assault-style weapons, effective immediately. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced. The ban comes after a deadly shooting in Nova Scotia in April that ended with 22 people dead. The Associated Press writes the ban affects, quote, over 1,500 models and variants of assault-style firearms, including 2 weapons used by the Nova Scotia gunman, as well as the AR-15, end quote. Trudeau said the weapons are unnecessary for hunting and said, quote, there is no use and no place for such weapons in Canada, end quote. It is, quote, no longer permitted to buy, sell, transport, import, or use military-grade assault weapons in this country, end quote, said Trudeau. But it is not illegal to own the weapons. This is according to the Associated Press. So if you already have those weapons, you can keep them for sure. But yeah, I guess this has always been the thing for me. I'm not a gun owner. I don't I haven't shot a gun in a long time. I mean, I had some BB guns when I was a kid and air pistols and pellet guns and such. I think I had a 22 pistol and a few things. But I've done some target practice here and there. I've never had to, I've never had the need to shoot a living thing, especially a human. But I'm not a hunter, but I do know that there's hunting, but I'm not familiar with all the weapons. I've seen the weapons. I've looked at the weapons. I've read some about weapons, guns in particular, but I'm not that much of an authority. Do we need assault rifles in our day-to-day life? Are they good for hunting, or are they overkill? Is that pun? Is that a pun? Are they overkill? Do we need them, or do we not need them? That one, I'd like to talk to somebody, maybe a gun expert, about that. I'd like to have a gun expert on the program sometime and bounce some ideas off of them, and find out more about, why do you need an assault rifle? Is that something that's necessary? Is that something that you can use for? It's practical. Is it practical to have an assault weapon in your house? Is it a necessary tool for anything, really? Or is it for the military? And once again, I wish the military didn't need them either. Can't we all just get along? Can't we just have conversations? I know that that's what the United Nations is striving for, and that maybe that's the biggest place. But I mean, you start in your own family. If you have a little tiff, you don't bang them out the door. You don't destroy them. You have a discussion, and you find out if there's some middle ground that you can come to. And if there's no middle ground, hey, you just go off to another room. You don't kill them. You don't hurt them. You don't damage them in any way. You get along. You discuss with them. Use your words. Use your words. I think fighting is a last result, right? Last resort. My words are failing me. Hopefully I don't say too many wrong words during this or any podcast that will be detrimental to me or my family. But I know that I will. A lot of times the things in my head come straight out the hole in the things in the top of my head, the gray matter, come out the front hole of my head. And there's a lot of times that there's a microphone stuck in my face. And so lots and lots of people have the potential of hearing the things that I say. I know when I'm doing shows, like on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, I have a microphone in my hands. People will listen to every word I have to say, whether they like it or not. And there's a lot of times that I'll say some stuff that's just, maybe that wasn't inappropriate. Maybe that was inappropriate. I probably should not have said what I just said. And I'll ask that too on the mic. Hey, give me some feedback straight away. Did I just do something wrong? Did I? I hope not. I hope that most people know that I'm kidding. It's my attempt at humor, but maybe people don't have a sense of humor, myself included. Maybe I don't know what humor is. Maybe I don't read the room the way I should. But here I am in a room of potentially, 7 billion people out there in the universe. How many of those billions have access to the internet? Well, I guess a lot of them could go to an internet cafe and use somebody else's cell phone and possibly hear this. Hey. All right. 10 things you need to know today. These are my talking points while I'm hanging out here on FB Live. Hopefully you're all having a reasonably good time, good day. It is Saturday here in the U.S. of A. And I guess it's already another day in the other parts of the world. Are we a day ahead or a day behind? I think Australia is a day ahead. Yeah, they hit the timeline. They hit the next day before anybody else. How about that? Isn't that cool? I think there's even a little island before Australia that hits the timeline a little bit the first. Yeah, well, I need to find that out. I know you always hear about it every year on December 31st to January 1st. You hear about, hey, Happy New Year, in that little tiny island that gets the new year before everybody else. All right, then. Number 8 on the 10 things you need to know today for Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. Number 8, Bezos called to testify on Amazon's possibly perjurious statements. I'm going to say perjurious. House Judiciary Committee members on Friday asked Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos to testify before Congress and clarify statements from the company they say may be, quote, criminally false, end quote. The Wall Street Journal reported last week that although Amazon says it does not use data from third-party sellers to develop competing products, interviews with more than 20 former employees, quote, revealed that employees did just that, end quote. Amazon Associate General Counsel Nate Sutton told Congress last year, quote, we don't use individual seller data directly to compete, end quote, with third-party sellers. 7 lawmakers asked Bezos to testify. Quote, if the reporting in the Wall Street Journal article is accurate, then statements Amazon made to the committee about the company's business practices appear to be misleading and possibly criminally false or perjurious, end quote, the letter says. It's according to CNBC and The Week. What do you think about that? The company's, this is probably the most powerful company in the world, amongst them anyway. You know, more money, more business, more power, right? And maybe Jeff Bezos could be one of the most powerful people in the world in that respect. I think he still has control of Amazon, even though is it a publicly traded company? Probably is, but he still has majority control. So one man has the possibility to say no to your orders, all the people that are subscribed to the Amazon and use that in their day-to-day life, even before the pandemic. I know that the Amazon orders have gone up and up and up since this pandemic started, and people are locked up indoors and just able to push buttons on their various devices and say, bring it to me. Bring it to me. Like pharaohs of the past, bring it to me. I push the button, you bring it to me. Yes, anything can be brought to you. Groceries, a spare tire, a balloon animal, I guess. Yeah, anything can be brought to you courtesy of this big giant company. So they have a lot of power. How about that? Maybe too much power. And are they using all this, all the purchases that you make, all those little data points to make themselves even more powerful? If you had the ability to do it, and I'm going to turn this around to you, if you had the ability to use a data point, wouldn't you make yourself more powerful? Even on a small scale, would you think about that? You know, if I do this thing, then my family is going to like me better. My friends are going to like me better. The people that I interact are going to have better interactions. So if I take this little data point, maybe I comb my hair this way, and somebody says, hey, I like the way you combed your hair. That made me feel better. So that gives me a little happiness, power point, if you will. So I'm going to start combing my hair that way. These are little data points that you get throughout the day. You know, different things. You know, if I offer my friend an M&M, is it going to like me better? You know, the data shows. Yes, it does. Am I going to use that data in a certain way? Maybe that's a bad analogy, but you know, you use data points all the time. You get data all the time. Everything you take in is data, and you use that data to the best of your ability to help you live your life better. I hope it is. I hope you get good data points, good information. All right. I'm spinning down here on the 10 things you need to know today. My copy points while I chill out here on FB Live on a Saturday afternoon. And I know, and I want you to look out on your FB Lives and support the artists that are out there, watch their streams. If you have nothing to do, for sure. That could be one way that you could support those artists that you like, the musicians, the comedians, the jugglers. They're going out there on FB Live. These are people that have lost their livelihood for the most part. I mean, shoot, half my jobs, half my job is gone. I used to enjoy one, and I know that I will enjoy it again, and enjoy entertaining people on the weekends with the parties and the weddings and such. So, yeah, I missed that part. That was my extra cheese. That was my part of my livelihood. Thankfully, I've got something else that is helping me keep along. I've tightened up that belt. I don't go out as much as I used to, and I guess nobody's going out as much as they used to. So you don't need all that money. You don't need all that money. And we're going to be paying for that stimulus check. I'll tell you that for nothing. All right. 10 things you need to know today. Number 9 on the 10 things you need to know today for May 2nd, 2020. And number 9, judge sides with U.S. Soccer in USWNT's pay discrimination case. Hey, a non-COVID-19 thing to read on the copy here. How about that? A federal judge issued a ruling late Friday hampering the United States women's national soccer team's lawsuit, which claims the U.S. Soccer Federation violated the Equal Pay Act by paying them less than the men's national team. Judge R. Gary Klausner ruled the plaintiffs were not able to demonstrate they were paid less than their male counterparts between 2015 and 2019, siding with U.S. Soccer, which has said the USWNT was paid more overall during that time frame. The women said that was only because they played more games than the men, but Klausner's ruling cited as undisputed fact that the USWNT averaged more per game as well. The judge also sided in part with U.S. Soccer in response to the plaintiffs' claim they were discriminated against by being subjected to playing on inferior surfaces. This is according to the Wall Street Journal and ESPN. Yeah, I'm not much on sports, but women demanding equal pay in this respect. I don't think that the women's sports are garnering as much money, are making as much money as the men's sports, and that's historically the way it's always been. So, I guess until the women's sports are as popular as the men's sports, I mean, I'm thinking that they're not as popular as the men's sports, and maybe somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But if they don't make as much money, then how can they pay the people as much? Yes, they're running around as much as the men are on the fields, and I'm sure that they're showing athletic ability to no end. I don't watch a lot of women's soccer or men's soccer for that matter, but I feel like, if the teams were making more money, then yes, they could spread that wealth more. But if the teams are not making that much more money, then how can they afford to pay them more? You got to know where you're working. If you got a job that can only pay this much, then that's what you got to do. You're playing a game, and I think you're pretty lucky, pretty fortunate that you're making any money for playing a game. And if you notice in this particular time, the people playing the games are finding out that, oh, well, it is just a game. This is not. I do admire physical prowess and people, since the gladiators, of course, I've been fascinated with people playing games and showing feats of strength. But yeah, that's you're not making any money, so how can they pay you anymore? Yeah, these are things that are above my head, above my pay grade. So I'll move along. Oh, man. Number 10, we're going to finish up on the 10 things you need to know today, and it's sad news. I know the show Scrubs, number 10 on the 10 things you need to know today for May 2nd, 2020. Scrubs actor Sam Lloyd dies at 56. Sam Lloyd, the actor best known for his role as Sacred Heart's lawyer Ted Buckland on the television comedy series Scrubs, died. His agent confirmed Friday. He was 56. Lloyd's agent did not provide details on the cause, but the actor was diagnosed with a brain tumor and cancer last year that had spread to his lungs and spine. Lloyd, who was also a talented musician, additionally appeared in shows like Seinfeld, Modern Family, and The West Wing. Scrubs creator Bill Lawrence and Lloyd's co-star on the show, Zach Braff, offered tributes to the actor on Twitter, with Braff noting Lloyd never failed to make him laugh and break character when they shared a scene. This is according to Variety and CNN. Well, there you go. That's one thing. I mean, once you go away, once you pass, once you die, will people remember you? I hope so. You know, your family, your friends, make an impact on people and make them laugh, you know, make them smile, do good things, and you will be remembered. How about that? Chances are you will be remembered. That's right. Yeah, I remember the people in my family that have passed away, that have died, and that's how you keep them alive. I got pictures of family up on the wall, and in my various I have in my storage, in my files, I got pictures that have people that have passed away, that have died. Yeah. Now I'm thinking of my poppy, my grandfather. Yeah, that man taught me a lot, and I'm keeping him alive right now, just thinking about him. Yeah, Berardo Mesa, Tito to his friends, Poppy to me. How about that? Keep them alive. Keep the people alive. Just keep them in your memory. And take care of the people that are alive. How about that? Take care of each other. Hey, if you got any questions or comments, or, you know, just want to chit chat, you can give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. Hey, maybe you could be a part of the What Makes You Famous podcast. We'll chit chat about it, put it out there to the world, see if anybody comments on it, get you some promotion, get me some content. How about that? Won't that be cool? And this is the KeysDAN show portion, my little podcast, my all of the above. I've been trying to figure out what to do with it. So I've been doing these Facebook Lives. I did one, and like I said, this is my third one. I never did Facebook Lives before, and I'm having a good time. Just talking to the ether, making little videos, little content, little pieces of me, spilling my heart out to you. How about that? Am I really? I don't know. All right. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you. If you'd like to tell your story on the What Makes You Famous podcast, hashtag What Makes You Famous, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. Well, that's it for me for this edition of the KeysDAN show. Find me everywhere. Subscribe and leave comments and leave little reviews. Hey, man, I'll take some criticisms as well. You don't have to leave all good comments. I mean, it's nice to hear good things about you. Everybody wants to hear that they're doing really good. Oh, you're such a good boy. You did so good. Oh, yes, you are. You're a good boy. But, you know, you could tell me if I'm just like spinning my wheels out here. You could tell me. All right, that's it for this edition of the KeysDAN show. Find it everywhere. Hashtag KeysDAN show. And what makes you smarter? Hashtag what makes you smarter. And what makes you famous? Hashtag what makes you famous. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.